This is One Last Time from the Broadway musical Hamilton, which has been airing on Disney Plus on this 4th of July weekend. And I saw it just about 3.5 hours ago. And I was going to do my show. I started my show about 10:07 today. And all of a sudden, about maybe 20 minutes in, power failure happened. It took me a while to get my internet hookup back up and my Wi-Fi back up, so I had to stop the episode. So here we are. We're doing this episode now again. So we're going to try this again one last time, hopefully, doing this show. Sorry, let me just get my hair here. So this is July 4th, 2020. We are now on the downward slide of 2020. 6 months have passed, and now we're into the 7th month right now. So hopefully that'll be something that will make the future much brighter for us. It's been an interesting 4th of July, but I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm also going to talk about I've been on vacation all this last week. We're going to talk about that as well. Been some interesting deaths as well. We'll do my review of Hamilton. Beetlejuice is back in the news again. There's going to be a lunar eclipse in starting about 20 minutes from now. Excuse me. Starting about 20 minutes from now. It won't go into probably full effect until about 12 o'clock today. 12 o'clock tonight. Other stuff going on is ancient Mayans are in the news today. DeLorean Autobots, Batman Forever director's cut, Captain America and Fortnite, as well as some other Fortnite news, Pokemon Go news, some sports teams changing their names, some new DC movies in development that sound interesting. Niantic has got a new thing going on, HBO Max's first original film coming up, some anniversary stuff. New films can start filming. Movie theaters are stepping back again real quick. The NFL preseason reduced to 2 weeks. S'mores in the news, pickle ice cream in the news, 13-foot giraffes, some COVID-19 stuff, Bar Lives Matter, more sex scandal stuff, and it's going to be a short episode. So first off, let's celebrate the independence of your nation by blowing up a small part of it. Fireworks have been consistently going on even during the blackout we had just briefly, and probably can't hear them too much in my soundproof booth that I'm in now, but they are out there. I heard them earlier today, and I just heard some. We're trying to fix all this stuff around here, but everything should be set as long as we don't have another power surge or power outage or whatever. Hopefully things won't go wrong. It's going to be a short episode because, as I said, I was offline most of the week, so a lot of the stuff that I normally would do, I just heard some, is going to be going on right now. But before I hit my vacation stuff, let's talk about 4th of July. 4th of July is usually a big holiday for my family, my dad's family anyway. It's our biggest celebration of the year for the most part, even bigger than Christmas and Thanksgiving, but it is the biggest one. We gather together, we play badminton and horseshoes and bocce ball. We do grill stuff. We have conversations. We usually watch baseball, shoot fireworks off. Sometimes neighbors let us use their swimming pool, have all kinds of fun stuff. We would be bringing board games because my kids are the youngest kids there. Well, not anymore. There's a baby, but they can't play with the baby, obviously. Dogs are all over the place, but it's a fun little get together, and it's at my uncle's house, which is literally about maybe 10 minutes from our house. So it's real easy to get there and not too hard to get around to. So we had that. So unfortunately, we don't have that this week. This year anyway. This year is a more low-key 4th of July for me for the first time in forever. As I said, we're not doing a 4th of July at my uncle's house. We're at home. What's going on instead is what we did today was we were on the Switch. We were playing Fortnite. We were watching we were doing Pokemon Go. We watched Planet Earth. We read. We did Sims. We cleaned up a little bit, so on and so forth. But some good things did happen this week. It's a recovery day from our vacation. We got back yesterday, so we've just sort of been recovering right now. So my son, he went in and went to start playing the Switch, and we were having trouble connecting the Switch to our TV, and then eventually we got it to work. I don't know how we got it to work, but we did, so it's been fine. And then when I turned on the TV today also, the sound wasn't working for some weird reason, so I shut it off and turned it back on. It was working fine again. And then we were watching Planet Earth. I have a DVD version of it. We watched one episode of it, and then the second episode we were getting ready to start, and it wouldn't play. So I restarted the DVD player and all that stuff, and it made a screeching noise. And I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. So let me just see if it's the player itself that's messed up. So I put a Blu-ray in. The Blu-ray played perfectly. But then I put the DVD back and the DVD wasn't working. So there's probably some issue with the DVD player. I'm going to try again tomorrow, but I've already ordered a new DVD Blu-ray player, which will be here on Thursday. My son, he has 2 toys that he's had since he was a baby, and we've had to replace one of them, and now we have to replace the other one. It was a toy that uses batteries, glow in the dark, and musical seahorse, and he still loves it, and he still wants it. So I said I'll go ahead and get him a new one also. We use so often and replace the battery so often that the screws have been stripped. So we cannot open the container to get new batteries in, since the music and light aren't working now. So I just got him a new one as well. So that'll be coming this week as well. So just kind of a weird string of events set around my TV, DVD player, and Switch stuff. So hopefully, we're not going to have any issues, and we'll see what happens after that. As I said, yesterday, July 3rd, was my 16th anniversary of being in this house with my wife and my family. So we've had this house for 16 years. So far, so good, right? Hamilton also popped up on Disney Plus, a movie version. They filmed one of the original Broadway cast from 2016. They filmed it, they edited it, and now they've been showing it. They were going to show it in movie theaters, but they decided let's just put it on Disney Plus around 4th of July because it is a historical piece. And it was the first time I'd ever seen it. And I've been wanting to see it for a long time, but we didn't have to pay an exorbitant price to get it, which is fantastic. So the whole family gathered. Actually, my son watched it, which surprised me, and he enjoyed it as well. He liked the music because he's kind of like into that sort of Caribbean vibe that they play rap sort of freestyle stuff they've been playing. Sorry, it's not good. It's not easy doing this with the hat on. So he enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for the most part. My wife loved it. My daughter loved it. My son liked it. And I liked it a lot too. I liked the historical aspect of it. I liked how that there's no dialogue. It's all sung. I like the different styles of music. I like how the Jefferson and Hamilton arguments in Congress were done as a rap battle. I thought that was fantastic. One Last Time was fantastic. It was probably my favorite song of Hamilton. It gives you a good look at what the life of Alexander Hamilton was about, and that he might not have been as good of a guy as you thought he was, but at the same time, he had some good ideas and more so stuff like that. So it was a very well done production. If you have not seen it yet, I highly recommend you see it. Check it out on Disney Plus. If you don't have Disney Plus, get Disney Plus. Check it out. I think it'll become a staple in our household during the holidays for July 4th, particularly. So that adds to Jaws and Independence Day, 1776, and Team America and stuff like that as movies to watch during the 4th of July. So that's fantastic. It has been 103 days. Yeah, 103 days since I last worked. My company still says they're going to bring everybody back, and I believe them. But it's still kind of hard being away from work for 103 days. My work is still okaying unemployment payments through August now, so that's a good sign. I think it's going to be a little bit longer because there's all these spikes now in the south of the coronavirus. So we have a lot of companies down there that we deal with. So it's probably going to be a little while before we get back in, but hopefully I'll be able to get back in soon enough. But I am a little worried, obviously, and I don't feel like I deserve vacation. But we went on one anyway, mainly due to the fact that my wife is essential and she has been working pretty much. So this was a good break for her. And the kids have been very good doing all this with all their schoolwork that they have to do through online learning and the computer and stuff like that. And they deserve this vacation as well. I still feel guilty about taking vacation, but my wife and kids deserve one. So we took one. in an alternate reality where everything was perfect and beautiful and pandemic, and we had responsible, smart, good people in office down in DC, and there was no pandemic. This past week, my wife and kids would be away at scout camp, and I would have worked for 2 days and then taken Wednesday, Thursday off, and we would have had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. So I would have had a 5-day weekend if all was going according to plan. All did not go according to plan, obviously. So when they shut down the scout camp, my wife got in touch with other scout friends and family. There were kids that are friends with my kids and my wife as well, and they all decided, why don't we do one big trip together, camping trip together. They wanted to originally go to Assateague, but all the camping sites down at Assateague have been booked, so they went to the next clear water park / mini golf place in Berlin, Maryland, which is about 6 miles from Ocean City and about 3 miles from Assateague. So we were right there in the Eastern Shore, and it was a huge campsite. Has different levels of camping you could do from where you take care of your own water and stuff like that. They have a water pump, but you just put up a tent and they have a picnic table and a fire ring. You take care of everything too. Where you can get campsites that have electricity. Places for RVs can roll in there, lots of RV spots, lots of cabins. Again, different levels of cabins, from primitive where it only has like 2 rooms and they're sleeping rooms, but it has electricity and air conditioning, to ones that have like kitchens and living rooms and dining rooms and bedrooms as well that you can rent as well. So it was a huge campsite. There were hundreds of people down there. And all in all, it was a pretty good trip. I had a couple cons, 2 cons I had. One was the fact that the campsites were so close together. I mean, they were really, really close together that, it was just a small little patch of land, and there was, a spot here, and across from me there was a bunch of people as well. So there was not a lot of privacy. There was not a lot of like tree blockage, so that you could have your own little private thing. So you basically were always looking into other people's campsites and seeing what they were doing and seeing them do stuff and stuff like that. Luckily, the campsite to our right was empty through Thursday, so we had a little buffer area. And then there are primitive cabins behind us. So the way things worked out is we went with 2 other families. One family stayed in one of the primitive cabins. It had 2 bedrooms. It was a big, like, queen-size bed and 2 bunks, and that was it. But they had electricity. They had lights and air conditioning and water pumps, stuff like that. And then behind that was a campsite. The other family we went with, they took over that campsite. Now, they were trying to get the campsite next to their campsite, but someone had already staked their claim to that, so we got the one next to that. So it was really only like a 30-second walk to the campsite and cabin area where our family and friends were, which we hung out at most of the place anyway. And it was great. There were kids there, friends of my daughters that were also girls, and friends of my son, which were boys, so they could all hang out and do stuff, and they were all around the same age. So go out and have a good time, and there was lots of stuff we could do. My second pet peeve with it was the awful bath stations. We had to walk about 5 to 7 minutes to go to the bathroom and shower, and that was always a pain because we had to cross some roads, main roads. One of the perks, political statements on it, which I'm not going to get into right now because I really don't want to. And just was zooming around at all hours of the day, people walking dogs, bikes, all kinds of stuff, cars up and down. So it was kind of a busy area, and you crossed over, and there's all these campsites everywhere. Then it says your connection. See, there we go. Then the showers. Well, actually, I'm not going to showers. The stalls for the usually sat down. They had to separate every other one to social distancing, which kind of stank, obviously. The other aspect of it that was crappy was the low flow toilets, so that when you flush the toilet, it would take forever for stuff to flush, including if you were going, shitting. And there were times where people just, when they tried to flush the toilet and it didn't go anywhere, it would sit there. They would just ignore it and walk away. So you would go into the stall and there would be a piece of shit in the toilet. So you'd have to flush it with muddy around there and sandy and stuff like that. So just it's disgusting. And then the sinks, there wasn't really any place for you to shave too well. I don't even remember were there mirrors there. There probably were, but I couldn't shave, so I'm not shaving at all. So I ended up growing a beard for the week. I shaved it off. I feel better being myself here. The showers were the worst part, though. They were small, so I had to duck a lot, which I'm used to, and I'm okay with that because I do that in hotels all the time. But the problem was, in order to get the water out, you had to press a button. And when the water came out, it was either hot, cold, or medium. And you never got your choice. Sometimes it was hot, sometimes it was cold, sometimes it was medium. There was no consistency in it. Second, it would only give you water for about 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes tops. So you would, you know how you rinse yourself off first. You have to press the button, you get in the water, you get your hair washed, your face rinsed off, and part of your body rinsed off when the water shuts down. You got to press the button again. You rinse off your arms, your back, your legs, and then you grab your soap, get ready to soap up, and then it shuts down again. And then you got to press the button again. You soap yourself up, stuff like that. You're almost done soaping yourself up. It shuts down again. You press the button in. Okay, you got to rinse it off. So it takes a few times to keep pressing the button to rinse all the soap off of you. Then you got to do your hair off and on, off and on, off and on with the water. And then take forever. It took forever, 3 or 4 times for the water to come out to get all the hair out, the soap rinse out of your hair. So it was kind of a pain in the butt to go do showers as well. So that was a pain. And so those were the 2 major issues. There were people who tended to not really, pay attention to the laws. No fireworks at the campsite. There were still fireworks. After 11 o'clock, just quiet. People didn't really get quiet till about noon or around midnight. So as I said, they're so close together, so you could hear conversations and hear stuff going on, loud laughing, dogs, babies, children, whatever. So it was a pain in the ass. But besides all that, it was still a fun time. When we arrived on Monday, we left about 10:30 on Monday and got down there about 3 hours later, and we were able to get right into our campsite, set up our tent, and get everything ready, and then wait for our friends to come. And then we sort of congregated, got stuff packed up and ready. We made kebabs that day, and just were hanging out in the campsite and talking and doing stuff. The camp store was right near us. So if you needed anything, they had souvenirs, they had food, they had liquor, they had camping supplies, they had ice cream, they had milkshakes called For Reals, which we really enjoyed a lot. They had a place where you could buy pizza and hamburgers and hot dogs and all kinds of stuff. And they just had all kinds of things. You need ice, you needed whatever. They had grocery stuff. You could get that kind of stuff there. So it was kind of fun to have something really nearby there. So that was kind of good. Of course, at 7 a.m., the trucks would come and bang the dumpsters at 7 a.m. to wake your ass up. But you were already up by then because at 6 a.m., that's when the birds started crying out. So that might have been another, con about stuff, just the kind of noise. And then at 11 o'clock at night, you're trying to sleep. People riding up and down on their golf carts, doing all kinds of stuff. So that was crazy. But that was okay. So then Tuesday, we decided we're going to go to Assateague since it was the closest beach to us. So we did a beach day, went to Assateague. It was warm. We found a good spot, and the kids enjoyed themselves immensely. They went in the water. One interesting thing about our Assateague trip was we met Felix. Now, Felix was named by the kids. Felix was a fish head, giant fish head, that had washed up onto shore near us about 2 or 3 hours into our beach vacation. It looked to be the head of a sturgeon or one of these marlins, one of these big giant ass fishes. And the whole body was gone, and the rest of the face, the eyes had been eaten out, and there was skin and flesh all hanging on there. It stank to high heaven, but it was right there near us the whole time. So when the wind shifted, we got the smell of dead fish in our face. So we moved some of the head around a little bit, but everybody who came out to the beach, they saw it, they took pictures of it, say, well, what's that? And eventually the tide rolled it out down the beach, so we wouldn't have to see it anymore. So that was kind of wild to see a giant fish head. I mean, this wasn't like a little mini fish head. This sucker was about the size of my head, if not bigger. And it was crazy size. I'd never really seen a fish that big. That's why I think it's like a sturgeon or marlin type of thing that was eaten up. Now, a friend of mine from work who's also been laid off, he went to Ocean City this week as well. And that day that we saw the fish head up on 130th Street, they saw a shark. So I'm wondering if a shark had beached itself. So I'm wondering if that shark was the one that ate the marlin / sturgeon. So I'm not exactly sure about that. But that was interesting. And then we had to deal with high tide. We thought we were high enough away, but the high tide was just massive and wiped out our area. We had to keep moving it back further and further. So that was crazy. So we had a pretty good time. We were at the beach for a long time, and we had what do we have that? We had chicken, roast chicken or grilled chicken that night. Wednesday, we just stayed around the campsite, went to the